They changed the Cracker Barrel logo. That's right, as the #1 Cracker Barrel fan, I am mad. But yeah, they changed the logo. To me, it's really no surprise. Honestly, if you think about it, Cracker Barrel was one of the last places to not be changed. With not even just their logo being old, but the restaurant themselves as well. They always had that classic cluttered look, where it's a bunch of random stuff from the South hung all over the place. I'm not even sure what half the stuff is, or why it's there, but I always appreciated it because it stuck out from other places. A lot of other restaurants and whatnot had this in the past, like TGI Fridays, but they have all since then remove that look to become more modern, where everything is boring and gray. And now take a wild guess, that's exactly what Cracker Barrel is going to do. They're changing not only the logo, but all of their restaurants from this classic look to the new boring style. And this is all being done to potentially bring in new people, but from the backlash online, it looks like it's doing the exact opposite.
Look at this. Even the company Steak and Shake hates it.
That seems to be a trend that a lot of companies do, where they think, wow, our sales are going down, let's make ourselves as boring as possible to try to bring people back. But then it turns out nobody wants that, and the company fails altogether. And this isn't only with restaurants. Take a look at Gap. After some financial struggles in 2010, Gap thought it would be a good idea to switch up their logo to potentially bring in more people. So millions of dollars later, that's right, the logo cost millions to make for some reason, this is what they came up with. That does not even look like a clothing store logo. But let's just say people were definitely not happy. The backlash was so bad, in fact, that Gap switched back to their old logo in just 6 days. That's right, they spent millions of dollars creating this just for them to switch back. Yeah, that's definitely a fail, but at least they listened to what people wanted. This exact thing happens all the time, where companies think changing their look will bring in more people when it ends up doing the exact opposite. Also, remodeling their buildings is a part of this. Like I mentioned with Cracker Barrel, I could talk all day about that, and I actually have in past videos, but I'll keep this one focused on logos. Does anyone remember the Twitter logo change? Instead of Twitter, it's now called X. But even after 2 years of it being that, I never hear anyone refer to the website as X. It's always Twitter. It was a pointless switch that probably cost millions of dollars to do, just because they have to spend money, I guess, I don't know. But after spending all that money, people still don't call it X. Look at Petco. You got the great cat and dog logo. I remember seeing that all the time as a kid and thinking it was really cool. Yeah, let's get rid of that and change it to the most generic font of mankind. Instead of standing out from every other company, let's blend right in. And just to show you how many companies have that same font, let's take a look at these. You got Pinterest, same font, Spotify, same font, Airbnb, I hate this, and even Google. Actually, you know, this one's not too bad. I love the new Google change. There's so many logos nowadays that have that same font, I've literally lost track. I have no idea why companies love doing it so much, and I can't even name a single person that likes it. Every person I talk to, they seem to like the older logos, so I don't know where these people are. However, one that isn't too bad is eBay. I will say, as nostalgic as the old logo is, it looks like it was created in 5 minutes. So the new eBay logo gets a pass for me. Now going back to Cracker Barrel for a second, what's honestly funny about all this is that they're actually pretty late to the game. I remember eating at Cracker Barrel in the last couple years and thinking, I know for sure one day they're going to get rid of all this stuff. But although I knew some people are going to be mad, the backlash is a lot more than I thought. People really seem to be upset about this logo change. People are having full-on meltdowns that Cracker Barrel changed their logo and will no longer have that same look. Trust me, I hate it, but you know, I got a couple other more important things to do than cry online. Oh wait, I'm doing that right now. Yeah, I guess I'm no better than anyone else. Now, one logo I talked about in the past was the Super Bowl logos. They're really cool and stand out each year. You can always put that logo on your wall and be like, yeah, that was the Super Bowl, that's my favorite or whatever. But now, they all look the exact same, they're super generic, and none of them stand out. If you blurred your eyes a little bit and put all of these up in a row, you have no idea which one is which. I have no idea why that's such a popular thing. Why do people want the exact same logo over and over? Is it just to have it uniformed? I guess I could see that argument, but I'd rather have a new creative one every single year. However, I guess for the mass majority, that's an outdated thing. We of course have the Chuck E. Cheese logo. This one's been through many different changes over the years. I grew up with this one in particular, where I guess he's flipping a coin or something. I'm actually not even sure what he's doing with his thumb there. You have the classic thumbs up, and now we just have this super creepy one where he doesn't even have eyebrows. I don't know who thought of that one, but alright. I thought the animatronics were scary enough, but then this logo came along. We have one of my least favorites, Olive Garden. They went from a really cool Italian type logo, just from looking at it you kind of knew what the restaurant was going to be, to this boring, everyday, generic font. I'm sorry, actually that logo's a lot better. I'm just a crybaby. We have one of the all-time classics, Pringles. That's what actually inspired me to do my first video, was the Pringles Pringles changed because it was so bad. You went from the classic look with him having hair to them shaving it off and making him bald. What happened? I guess all the stress over the years, Pringles lost his hair. I just don't understand that tactic once again though. Why does every company want to blend in? Don't you want to stand out from the competition? I guess not. But after all of these, what are some logo changes I like? Believe it or not, there is some, and I'll go through them right now. We got Burger King. They had this logo that I grew up with, and now you have the new one. I know, believe it or not, a logo was changed that I don't mind. However, there's a couple more. We got Pepsi. Here's the old one, and then the new one. I don't even drink Pepsi, but I think the logo's a lot better. And let's not forget about Pizza Hut. This is their old logo, and now you got the new one. But if you take a look at all of these, there's something in common, and that's that they all switch back to their old logos. The ones before the ones I grew up with was the logos that they changed back to now. Maybe that's part of the reason why I like it, but I just think they look way better. They have just a little bit of character there that makes them stand out from the rest of the logos. Trust me, if Burger King switched there to this with that same boring font, I would not give that a pass. But this new one, which looks very similar to their older style, I think has a character to it. It makes it stand out and looks cool. But if you want a logo that switched into a new one where it wasn't based off an existing one, that would be Fanta. This was the one I grew up with, and they changed it to this, and I actually don't mind it. I think it looks good. Yes, in my last video I said I didn't like it, but now I do. But for every good logo change, you have bad ones like Instagram. I'm not sure if anyone remembers this, but back in 2016, when they switched their logo from this to this, people were super mad. There was protests going on. It was insane. And I almost thought at the time they were going to switch back, but Instagram stuck to their guns and never did, and now everyone's used to it. That's usually how it goes with most things. Companies will switch it, people will get mad, and then everyone moves on. Well, I guess Gap didn't, but that's a different story. Will I think Cracker Barrel will do that? I actually hope. I love the logo a lot more and the look of the restaurant, but I doubt it, and it's really not going to be the end of the world. I do wish, however, every company was like Coca-Cola. For their entire existence, they've pretty much had the same logo. And obviously there's a bunch of other logos I could pick apart, but I've already done that in the past, so there's no reason to re-bring them up. But I have to say, at this point, I can't think of much more companies that haven't changed their logo yet. Almost every single one has, and just to repeat myself, Cracker Barrel was one of the last. Not only with their logo, but the look of their restaurant. Let's hope I don't have to do another part of these, but knowing how companies are, I probably will. Make sure to subscribe and
Buy merch, link in the description.